Good afternoon, dead or alive. Welcome back to the second installment of our Launches, Landings, and Fishing Holes series. Today we're going to be looking at the Conecuh River. Right now we're at the Highway 331 bridge just outside of Brantley, Alabama. This is about as far north as we're going to go on the Conecuh. There may be other landings farther north. If anybody knows about them and wants a video done on them, let me know and I'll try to make that happen. This particular stretch of the river I've never been on before. Between here and Gant Lake is the farthest north I've ever been on the Conecuh River. I hope to change that this coming summer. The water here, I have no idea what the optimum water levels are up above Gant. We'll talk about when I get below Gant Lake and Point A Lake, we'll talk about optimum water levels there. So you can see the river here. I think this morning it looked to be around 5 feet, 4 feet or 5 feet down south where I'm at. I have no idea what it is up here. There's no maintained boat ramp here. There is a sandbar right there that you can slide your kayaks down and get into the river. The next landing south from here would be Dozier, and then from Dozier on into Gant Lake. Now, this access to the river comes right off of Highway 331, and if Linda will turn around and pan, you can see there's plenty of parking. Again, lots of parking if you come with a larger party. Being right outside of Brantley, there's an inland store right in Brantley. You can't miss it at the major intersection there in town. You can get drinks, food, ice, anything else you need there. Farther north up in Laverne, there are convenience stores, restaurants, stuff like that. So that's this landing, and we'll move on down to Dozier from here and then on to Gant Lake. We're at the Bud Johnson Bridge. It's known locally as the Dozier Bridge. This bridge is, we're probably less than a half a mile out of the town of Dozier, Alabama. You turn off of Highway 29 on Main Street in Dozier, keep going right through Main Street, and you come to the bridge. You can't miss it. This bridge, you can see the landing here has a lot of parking. If you come paddling with a group of people, there's plenty of places to park here. Plenty of space to handle all of your kayaks and equipment and everything. And then it's right on the river. There's a sandbar to stage up on. There's a boat ramp here. The next landing downstream from this ramp is in Gant Lake. And Gant will be a whole different video in this series all by itself. But it's probably, the landing on Gant Lake is probably 5.5 or 6 miles as the crow flies from here. So roughly double that for river traffic, maybe 8 or 10 miles from here to the landing. So the rest of this video will be the lower reaches of the Conecuh River from River Falls all the way down to just below the state line with Florida, where the river changes names, changes to the Escambia River there. And when we get around to it, the Escambia River will be a whole separate video also. I'm going to put this map on the screen. It highlights the Conecuh River from River Falls all the way down to the spot where the river changes names. There are several landings, I'm not sure how many right offhand, between River Falls and there, and obviously we're running out of daylight today, but we'll get back out and nail down some more of those landings over the next few days. I wanted to tell you a little bit about the Conecuh River while we're here on it. The Conecuh River actually runs 198 miles through Alabama to just south of the Florida-Alabama state line. It rises just south of, or right outside of Union Springs, Alabama, up near Tuskegee, and flows all the way down through Troy, Goshen, Brantley, all the way down to Century, Florida. Gant and Point A lakes are the only dams on this whole river, and Gant and Point A Lake will be a separate video also. So this is the River Falls Landing on the Conecuh River. This is the first landing below the dams at Ganton Point A. We're actually, if you put in here and go probably a mile or two upstream, you would come up below the Point A dam. So we're back in familiar water to me here, and I can tell you that the river is running a little bit high today. They're probably generating. Optimum river level for paddling down here is probably between 3.5 and 5.5 feet. Now, I'm not sure, but this looks pretty close to about 7 feet. Here at River Falls, they have you can see the boat ramp here. There's plenty of parking up at the top of the ramp. It's an easy place to get to. As always, I'll post the coordinates that will take you from the highway to here, or the coordinates that'll take you to this point on the highway where you turn off at. The next landing from here downstream would be Brooklyn Bridge. Now there's another bridge between here and Brooklyn Bridge. It's Prestwood Bridge, and this will probably be the only place that I touch on it in this video. There's no ramp or easy access to the river from Brooklyn Bridge. With a kayak you can get down there to the water, but I mean from Prestwood Bridge, I'm sorry. With a kayak you can get down to the water and get launched, but there's not ideal parking. It's just not a real great place. It's probably only about 2.5 hours downstream from here, so it'd be a real short paddle if that's what you want to do. But for all intents and purposes, the next landing, the next boat ramp from here down will be the Brooklyn Bridge. Now we're sitting right on the edge of the town of River Falls and just a mile or so from the town of Andalusia. So there's plenty of stores, plenty of restaurants. Andalusia's got hotels, campgrounds, everything around. So anything you need is accessible from this point. And when you get down to Brooklyn Bridge, not so much from there. You're probably 4 or 5 miles out of town from there. But this is the River Falls ramp, and this is where we usually launch when we paddle on this river. And it's a great scenic ride from here down. And like I said, I'll do the rest of the ramps on the way, and we'll keep moving downstream from here. I'm standing up at the top of the boat ramp now here at River Falls, and you can see the parking area out here. Like I said, there's plenty of parking, plenty of room to get your stuff laid out and ready to go. And just a little piece downstream from here, there's actually a railroad trestle, probably a mile or so, or less than a mile downstream from this point, that has a waterfall on it. I don't think it's the waterfall that River Falls is actually named after. I think that one is actually on private property between here and the dam. But I'll include the coordinates of the waterfall and a couple other places of interest. There's Prestwood Creek, actually runs into the Conecuh River just down from the waterfall that I mentioned, and both of them are pretty places to stop, let the kids get out and play, stuff like that. And I'll put the coordinates for those right here in the video. Okay, so we're here at the Brooklyn Bridge right now is the next landing down from River Falls. We had to skip this one yesterday. There were a lot of people down here on the ramp, so we skipped this one and went on down to Hart's Bridge. And so we picked this one back up today. The river here, the next landing down from here is Hart's Bridge. And like I said, this one's on Brooklyn Road. It's probably 3 or 4 miles out of Andalusia. When we get back up to the top of the hill here at the top of the boat ramp, and we'll show you the parking lot. This 3 or 4 miles out of Andalusia, as you go into Andalusia, there is a campground on the left right there if you wanted to stay someplace, a place called the Oaks. And right past that there's a store, Fletcher's. They not only a food store, but they also sell sporting goods, fishing tackle, stuff like that. Going the other way, going west back towards I-65 from here, probably 10 or 11 miles if you like riding ATVs and stuff like that. There's a mud park there called Bogs and Boulders. And I'm sure there's a store and a campground and whatnot there also. The river's a little bit down from what it was yesterday. Yesterday it was running just over 7 feet, and I'm going to guess it's probably just over 5 feet today, and I'll check that when we see it, and I'll put it, I'll put the river depth up right here.
You can hear the waterfall.
Yep. On this stretch of the river, there's a lot fewer sandbars going down. You see this bluff bank over here. In fact, on the right side of the bridge pylon there, you can see a waterfall over there. I don't know if it's going to show up on that camera or not. It's such a wide angle lens. But there are little waterfalls and trickles and bluff banks and rock banks from here all the way to Hart's Bridge. So here's the view from the top of the boat ramp. You swing around, and you can see there's plenty of parking here. So this is the Hart's Bridge landing. You can see they've got a boat ramp. Again, the river is high. It's probably around 7 feet now. The best put in to get here from upstream would be there at Brooklyn Bridge, and it's a solid all-day paddle down to here. We've used it as an overnight before, and it's a good trip either way. I mentioned river levels earlier, and I said that the optimum for the Conecuh River on this stretch was between 3.5 and 5.5 feet. I've done it at 7.5 feet, and it was just so high that the river wasn't very pretty, and there was really no place to stop. And I've done it at around 3 or a little less than 3 feet, and there was zero current. We had to paddle every inch of it to get down here. We made an all-day trip one time on this stretch of river from Brooklyn Bridge to here, and wound up coming off the river at almost 10 o'clock that night because there was just no current. The water level, the water depth was fine. There was just no current to help you downstream. So this landing has a parking area. There's plenty of parking there. Now this place is very rural. It's very isolated and out in the middle of nowhere. If you choose to start a trip here going downstream from this point, this is one of those places where you'll want to make sure you've got all of your food and drinks and everything with you before you come out here to the landing. So this is not actually a landing per se. It's a sandbar off of an access road right at McGowin Bridge. You can see McGowin Bridge on US 29 right there. And the coordinates that I'll post in this section of the video will be the coordinates for exactly where you turn off of 29 to get down here. Now it's an unimproved road. It's bumpy. There's a lot of water holes in it. So this is not advisable unless you've got a truck to come down. If you don't have a truck, if you've got your kayaks on top of a car or something like that, you're probably better off to go on down the Cottonhouse Landing. Cottonhouse Landing is only a mile or two downstream from here. This is just an alternate place to take out in roughly the same area if you want to, coming down from Hart's Bridge. I'll put a map up there that'll show it'll have the river highlighted from Hart's Bridge on down to Cottonhouse, and this spot will be marked on that same map also. Now I've never been this far down on the Conecuh River before, but I've fished off the bank down here before, and that's about it. So I can't tell you much about the river or the scenery. I can tell you that this rock wall on the other side, from up around above Hart's Bridge all the way down, that's pretty typical of the banks that you'll see. It's a really scenic river, real pretty place to come and paddle. This landing is pretty much out in the middle of nowhere. There's no stores close by, anything like that. This would be a launch, either here or Cottonhouse would be a launch to go from here down to Parker's Bridge, and that'll be the next one we do on this river. So like I said, this isn't actually a boat ramp. We're actually parked maybe 150 feet or so up the hill. There is some concrete on this little chute coming down through the woods here. And once you're over that, this chute right in front of the camera here, all the way down, is the best launch here. Over on the edge of the sandbar here, you see it's a rather steep bank. And it'd be great for launching. You could launch from up here. Recovering, not so much. Okay, this is Cottonhouse Landing. The ramp is a little bit sanded in right now, but it's actually a concrete ramp underneath us here. Now, this is nearly as I can tell, this landing is on private property, but it is an accepted and allowed launch point. There's signs up the hill. We'll take a picture of one when we get back up there that says if you're not launching a boat, you're trespassing. They don't allow camping. They don't allow loitering, littering, open fires, anything like that here. And we'll also show you there is very limited parking area up here. But this is the other landing. We're probably a mile or two downstream from McGowin Bridge now. And the road is unmarked where it turns off of the paved road. My GPS coordinates will be right at the point where you turn off of the paved road onto this dirt road. Follow the dirt road all the way down to the end. There's the end. So again, nothing close by. No stores, no lodging, no campgrounds, anything like that. It's strictly a boat launch or a boat recovery spot, and that's it. I think the next one downstream from here is Parker Bridge, and we're probably going to run out of daylight again here pretty soon. And here at the top of the ramp, you can see what I mean when I said there was very limited parking here. The road just comes down, makes a big loop. There's a little bit of a parking area off on the other side of my truck there. And just makes a loop and goes right back out the way it came in. And there's the sign. This is Parker Bridge Landing, and this is the nicest boat ramp and launch that we've seen yet on the Conecuh River. We'll show you around a little bit when we get back up to the parking area and show you. But the ramp is fairly well maintained. There's a lot of sand on the lower 20-25 feet of it. That's going to be from a recent flood. This is the next landing down from the Cottonhouse Landing, and still up above Bruton. I think from here downstream, I think Edwards Bridge is the next landing, and it's got another name, Ridgeview or Ridge something. But also still out in the middle of nowhere. Well, I take that back. Where we turned off of 29, there was a store. It's probably 3 miles from here, something like that. So there is a store if you need drinks or gas or ice or whatever. We'll walk back up to the top of the boat ramp here and show you the parking area. Okay, there's the top of the ramp. You see even the whole parking lot up here, even the little slips up under the bridge are all paved. Plenty of space, plenty of parking. Okay, this is Edward Bridge Landing. It's also known in this area as Ridgeview Landing. And this is actually, I believe, the last landing in Alabama. The next landing will be where the river changes names at, just outside of Century, Florida. But we're downstream from the Parker Bridge Landing. There's a good bit of construction. This is Highway 41 right here above us, and they're doing some bridge work. Looks like they're actually going to build another bridge there. But I'll put coordinates where you need to turn off of it, because it's not where you would think to get right under the bridge, at the bridge. You have to go a good ways past the bridge and then take another road around and come back into it. But the coordinates that I put, as usual, will be right where you need to turn off of the pavement. And and then just follow the dirt road around back to the river. We're probably a mile and a half outside of East Bruton, and so there's plenty of stores, lodging. I saw twice the ice machine like a mile back up the road. So lots of stores. Anything that you would need is right here in Bruton. You can Google it and check. And here comes the guy that's parked up there at the top of the ramp. So we're going to get out of his way and let him load his boat up. Okay, here's the parking area. You can see all the construction and construction equipment going on. Hopefully when they get done with the bridge, they'll make this landing as nice as the Parker Bridge landing.